Hello, welcome to the channel. It is a new day, and you're watching a new episode of Vinland Saga. We're quickly approaching the end of the season, and I'm really curious about how they're going to end it because we're at episode 20 right now. And I wonder how they're going to wrap it up in 4 episodes because we haven't seen any kind of setup towards what Thorfinn is going to do, which I'm assuming they're going to set it up by the end and then pick it up from there in second season. So I'm curious what's going to happen in this episode. So without further ado, let's begin. January 1014 AD, outskirts of Gainsborough, northeast England.
トルケルの方便だ。
Using it as an excuse.
には考えられん。
しかし、フローキ様、ダービーからの報告では。
強くな薄いぞ。兵500とて侮るな。相手はトルケル軍だ。
フローキ様。
So they found out that Thorkel has turned, right?
報告が事実ならば、このナザリオは大変不敬な。
ありえぬ。あのクヌート殿下がトルケルを従えて生還するなど、決してありえぬ。
Nice.
やる気か相手になるぜ。
控えよトルケル。私が帰還する旨、数日前に使者を送ったはずだぞ、フローキ。槍を持って出迎えるのが貴様の霊か。
いえ、そのようなことは決して。アセラット。なぜ貴様が
You heard of best of both worlds. Let me present you the worst of both worlds from Floki's point of view.
聞こえるのか貴様。貴様はデンマーク王家に対し、弓を引く気かと聞いているのだ。
He's now acting befitting of his position. Good.
いえ、その。
I'm not talking about the morality of royalty or anything. I'm just saying in this situation, he needs to be a strong leader, which he is doing, which I appreciate.
ヨウム戦士団は敵軍襲来との誤報を受けまして。
Excuses. Ooh, his eyes changed.
申し訳ありません。
I'm assuming no one's apologized to him before.
夕刻までに参じると報告しておけ。正確にな。
Did he not recognize Thorfinn? I mean, it's been years. He's grown up, so it makes sense.
一体何がまるで別人。
Also, he doesn't know who is behind him. Gainsborough Castletown, Danish Army Headquarters.
全員歩きながら聞け。今はまだ仕掛けてはならぬ。私の味方はこの軍中に少ない。
See, he's smarter now. And Thorfinn needs to learn something from him. You don't strike as soon as you see the enemy. You prepare. You learn the surroundings. There's the quote from Art of War, right, by Sun Tzu. It says, "Know yourself and know the enemy, and you fear not losing 100 wars or something." Like, you have to know yourself and you have to know the enemy.
ただ手向かえば反逆者となろう。手回しの時間がいる。
Yeah.
トルケル、そなたは一度裏切ったが、
And there's also the saying, there's a controversial saying, right? But you can see how it applies to this situation, right? So the saying goes that there's only a thin line between terrorism and revolution, right? So they have to be the winners to be seen as revolutionaries in this scenario. I'm not saying it applies to anything.
今も戦士たちに人気がある。
Because if they attack now, they will be killed and they will be labeled as traitors who are executed for treason. Right? That is what would happen.
各部族の首領たちと交わり、関係を修復しておけ。
つまりあれかい、あんたのおごりでジャカジャカ酒飲むってこと？
他の首領を誘ってだぞ。行け。
素晴らしい命令だ。あんたについてきて正解だったぜ。行くぞ。
アシュラットは私と共に王のところだ。
Mm-hmm.
そなたの人物評を聞きたい。
Yeah, Ashlad is smart. He's a strategist.
それと
Torkel is more of a brawn.
いかにことを運ぶ。
はあ、短期的には暗殺がよ。
Torkel has more instincts, has more beast-like abilities, whereas Ashlad is strategic. He thinks, he plans.
欲しいかと。
Mm-hmm.
兄を
They're gonna assassinate the brother, I'm
ハラ
assuming?
ルド殿下は遠くデンマークにいらっしゃいます。これは好機です。
Or the king, maybe, who
今
knows?
王陛下が崩御されれば、
Yeah, king.
イングランド方面軍の最高指揮官はあなた様ということに。
Mm-hmm. Before the brother comes
首
back.
謀者を偽装する必要がありますが、
Mm-hmm.
うん。
You need to make it feel like an accident.
トルフィン、今
Or
後は
natural
護衛にも
causes.
働いてもらうことになるだろう。頼むぞ。
命令すんな。俺はあんたの手下になった覚えはね。
ご無礼をお許しください。
Mm-hmm.
バカへは私から指図しておきます。
神はこうしている今も我々を見ていらっしゃるのだろうな。
Mm-hmm.
友を失い、親と子が殺し合う。そんな様のすべてを天空の高みから見下ろしておられるのだろう。
There's an interesting question that is brought up, right? Not often, but whenever it's brought up, I think it's an interesting question that if God is all seeing, then he can't be all knowing. And if he's all knowing, he can't be all seeing. That kind of situation that uh, there is no need for him to watch if he knows. And if there is no, he can't know if he is watching because he is watching to learn, right? Which has its own flaws, I think, because sometimes we just watch for the entertainment of it, which feels like humanity is a really big reality TV, which could be fun to watch. Who knows?
許せぬ。
Mhm. That is a valid feeling, right? When you see all the tragedy in the world and you think of God just being a bystander watching, you feeling that resentment is natural.
私はこの地上に楽土を作るぞ。
Mm-hmm.
平和で豊かな生きることに苦しむ者たちの理想郷を
Mm-hmm.
私の代では成し得ぬかもしれぬ。それでも最初の一歩を私が踏み出すのだ。
That is the right mindset. You plant the seed so your future generations can eat the fruit that the tree will bear.
神はきっと私を目で
It also goes to show the gratitude you should have for those of the past who sow the seeds for us to enjoy the fruits, right?
妹へ召そうとするだろ
Mhm.
う。だが、その時私はこう言うのだ。もはや天の国も試練もいらぬ。
Mm-hmm.
我々の楽土は地上にある。とな。
Some might see that as a blasphemous statement.
我々が失ったものを取り戻すのだ。
Mhm.
そのためには、鬼にもなろう。
お手伝いいたします。殿下。
Let's see what Ashla thinks of the king.
よくぞ戻った。嬉しいぞ、クヌート。
ありがたきお言葉。陛下よりお預かりした兵を失ってしまった。負傷の身に余ります。
地高をよれ。
He's old.
お待ちください。どうだ、トルフィン。
いるな。20人ってところか。
Yeah.
高いところにもだ。弓兵だな。
殿下、伏兵です。
Mm-hmm.
どうやら王陛下はこちらの腹をお察しのようですな。
I mean, if he's a good king, he
どうした？
foresaw your intentions, obviously.
そなたたち、何があっても剣を抜いてはならんぞ。先に抜いた方の負けだ。
Yeah. Whoever draws first gives the other person justification, because then it becomes self-defense.
そういう喧嘩だ。
Because when it comes to statecraft politics, everything is about optics. How
暗
did
さに
it
目が
look?
慣れてきたな。
Need
もう
justifications.
少し近づけば王の顔がわかる。顔を見れば。止まれ。そこでよい。ひざまずけ。
Mm-hmm.
疲れた目だ。これがデンジンの王か。
Yeah,
ちらっと。
being a king is a very position. You get tired. You make so many decisions in your life, right? It wears you down because decisions are not easy or simple, especially when lives of thousands of people depend on them. It is natural to be that stressed and tired.
ラグナルはどうした？姿が見えぬが。
死にました。マーシアの地にて。
そうか、それは惜しいな。あれは誠の中心であった。
Mm-hmm.
本来なら趣向を持って帰還を祝うべきだが、一度そなたとは形式抜きで話をしたいと思うておった。
He's going to trust him. He's going to test him.
10歩前へ進め。
Because the king wants a worthy successor. If it's Canute, then it's Canute. I think he's looking. He's pragmatic and meritocratic, right? The only reason he wants to kill him is to avoid a civil war, and the only reason he doesn't favor him or love him is to is one, because he's not been proven as skillful, and two, that is also part of avoiding a civil war, right? If the king clearly favors one prince, it's clear who is going to be the heir. But if um, the king is not decisive as to who is the favorable prince, then factions could form and a civil war could break out. So I see it reasonably where the king is coming from, but it is also not fair with the prince. So interesting. We'll see how this unfolds. His eyes have changed.
わずかの間に
Mm-hmm.
顔が変わったな。
Mm-hmm. Now,
世の若き日に似ておる。
されば、我が心の内もお分かりでございましょう。
mm-hmm. Now he sees the determination.
まった子だ。
Mhm.
そのようなところまで嫌に似る
Yeah.
とは。
子は親のなしを見て育つのです。よもやお責めになりますまいな。
かつて若き日、世は父である洗脳を国外へ追い放ち、この王冠を奪った。
Mm-hmm.
それが王国のために良きことと信じたからだ。
Mm-hmm.
洗脳は生残忍にして臆病者だった。
Mm-hmm.
そのようなものが王冠をいただいては世が乱れる。
Mm-hmm.
こんだけの護衛に囲まれて何言ってやがる。
黙れ、聞こえるぞ。腹毛を使う気はねえってが、でん
Mm-hmm. They both know each other's intentions. There's no point in keeping pretenses anymore.
様子の中にいるってことを忘れなさんなよ。
Mm-hmm.
良きことをなした。良きことをなせると思うておった。
Mm-hmm.
これをかぶるまではな。
Mm-hmm. The weight of the crown.
意志があるのだ。この
As one will, yeah.
には
The will of the people, the will of the bureaucrats, the will of the nobles, the will of nature itself, right? Sometimes disasters happen. Sometimes you don't get good yields. It's, it's something similar to how writers feel. A lot of writers talk about it, that a lot of the times they start writing a book and they define these characters, they define this world in which these characters live, and they start writing the story. And a lot of the time they get stuck because they need the character to do something. But by the time in the story that they have written so far, the character is bound by the rules of that world and is bound by its own past and is bound by the personality it's been given, the character trait it's been given. So to make the character do something that goes out of these bounds would seem unnatural, right? In a lot of movies, in a lot of shows, in a lot of books, even you would notice that something is uncharacteristic. Right? What is uncharacteristic? The character has acted and lived a certain way so far, but now has done something that breaks those rules. It breaks those chains. It breaks those norms that it has followed so far, right? So, in a way, that character, even though fictional, has a will of its own, which needs to be followed. When things it does goes against its will, in a way, stands out, pokes out, it seems unnatural. So, in that way, the role of a king, right? No matter who is in on the throne, the role of a king has a will of its own. There are things it needs to do. There is a direction it needs to go in. There are things it needs to take care of. The only thing the person sitting on the throne can change is the flavor, right? The they can kind of veer a little bit of the course, but it's like steering a ship. If you ever look at steering like cargo ships or cruises or anything, when you're steering them in small increments over a huge amount of time compared to like a bicycle. So it takes time to do those things. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of effort, a lot of strategy, because depending on that you have to plot your course and everything. So I understand where it's coming from.
かぶれば千の船万の兵を統率できる、
Mm-hmm.
本国のあらゆる宝を取り寄せることができる。神々がごとき力が身に宿る。
Mm-hmm.
だがクヌートよ、力を使うのは王ではない。
Mm-hmm.
王冠の意志が使うのだ。
Mm-hmm.
王冠が陛下に命じたというのですか。私を殺せと。
Yeah.
王冠が王に命じるのはただ二つ。力を使うことと力を増やすことだ。
Mm-hmm.
あらもうても無駄なことよ。王冠はそなたを欲してはおらぬ。
I already explained the reasoning behind why the king is doing this, but it is sad from the point of view of the prince, right? Because the king is doing it to avoid a civil war, a faction war, because it is cruel, but a civil war is much crueler because a lot of his own citizens, his own civilians will die. A lot of casualties will happen. To avoid that, to have unity in his kingdom, it is something he needs to do at this point. Even if Canute is competent now, it is not worth taking the risk. Even more so now that he's competent, because a faction could form around him. And honestly, I think if Canute succeeds in killing the king would respect it. I think. Because he's bound by bound by the very rules he is judging Canute by.
そなたにコーンウォールの一部をやろう。そこで聖書でも読みながら平穏の日々を送るがよい。嫌だと申すならこの場で死ぬがよい。
Will you be satisfied?
その
This could also be a
言葉も
test.
王冠が言わせているのですか陛下。
陛下、恐れながら発言をお許しください。名乗れ。クヌート様の重視、オラフの子アシェラッドと申します。失礼ながら、果たしてこのご沙汰は王冠の意志にかないましょうや。続けよ。王子殿下はロンドンよりトルケルという戦力を奪い取りました。陛下がイングランド王にご即位なされれば、かの町には幸福より他道はありません。ロンドンの富は無傷のまま陛下のものとなります。多大なる犠牲を払い、この戦果をもたらしたるはクヌート殿下に他なりません。功労ある者が罰せられる道理がありましょうか。このご沙汰、新たな領地の割譲において各将軍に動揺を与えます。
True, that is smart.
何とぞご再考を。
That is true.
口の回る男。
Yeah.
アシェラッド、灰まみれか。それはあだ名であろう。貴様の父が授けた名を申せ。ただアシェラッドと父は私に名を与えませんでした。妾の子か。いや、奴隷に産ませた子かの。
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's angry.
なんだアシュラットがここ
Yeah.
まで怒るなんて。
クヌート、良い重視を持っておるな。そやつの申す通りだ。そなたたちには褒美をやらねばならんな。世は明日ヨークに立つ。かの地にて宴席を設ける。褒美はそこで授けよう。
Wait, I feel like the king knows what he wants to do. So what the king has done is he's given him time to do the mission. I'm assuming the king is smart. Okay, I'm assuming.
肝を冷やしましたぞ、殿下。
何を慌てることがある。そなたの察する通り、王には今、私を殺すだけの大義名分がない。
It's all about
剣
optics,
王と呼ばれている
justification.
お方なのだ。こちらさえ軽挙に出ねば、王の内部ところはむしろ安全だろう。
ではなおのこと、先ほどのような挑発はお控えください。
何のことはない。スベン王は王冠の奴隷というわけだ。王冠の力、私が使いこなしてみせようぞ。
アシェラットか。少々警戒せねばならんな。
Oh, king is smart. He knows who to be careful of.
さあ、じゃんじゃんやってくれ。全部クヌート殿下のおごりだぜ。
Building his faction. 57.
おい、さっきからガムガムガムガム飲みやがって。誰だおめえは。坊主なんざ招いた覚えねえぞ。
Oh, he's a priest, I think.
私はビリバルドです。お忘れですか。
は
あのヒゲの赤やいくつだよ。23です。
嘘だろ。20代だよ。よし、次は俺が相手だ。
大将のお邪魔してなんで58杯っすよ。
不思議な男だ。好き放題に生きながら周りの者に憎まれぬ。
Because he wears his heart on his sleeve, right? You know he know what he means when he says something because he just means what he's saying.
で、どうだ。やれそうか。あの王。
Impossible, I'm assuming. At least for now.
難しいと言わざるを得ませんな。
Mm-hmm.
頭の良いお方とお見受けしました。
Mm-hmm.
洞察力と先手を打つ行動力をお持ちです。我々が脅しに屈さぬと見るや次の手に転ずるあたり戦上手とも申せましょう。
Mm-hmm.
さすがは一国の王とい
Yeah.
ったところでしょうか。手強いですぜ。
Mm-hmm. Statecraft is a
いずれ
skill.
殺すにしても今ではないか。
ま、当分は王陛下の隙を伺いつつ標準の手で行きましょう。
殿下殿下
Mm-hmm.
おう、
無事のご帰還お喜び申し上げます。
One more egghead.
軍
Who is this?
どれほどに心配したことか。ご入場にお出迎えもせず申し訳ございません。何分たった今異国より帰ってまいったものですから。もちろんきっとのご生還信じておりましたぞ。
What is he doing with
こ
that
ちらの
arm?
御人は新しい重視殿でございますか。ご紹介いただけますかな。
ラグナルの弟、グンナルだ。見知りを。
Oh.
ウォラフの子アシュラッドと申します。
ほう、なんとも頼もしい風格ですな。グンナルと申す。ところで殿下、
Yeah.
かねてよりの計画、目処が立ち申した。ノルマンディー公国です。その件について、兄も交えて後ほど。
Yeah, he doesn't know yet.
ラグナルは死んだ。
は、
私のためにすまぬことをしたな。それから亡命はせぬ。
殿下、
そなたが諸国を奔走してくれていたことは大義であった。先ほどスベン王には喧嘩を売ってきた。そなたも力を
Yeah.
合わせ。
兄じゃが。
グンナル
あ、
そなたの仕事は王の監視と報告だ。使う兵は信用できるものを選ぶ。
He's still not good at reading people. He has to have some empathy. He has to have some social skills. Something Ashlad is very good at. He has to have those skills. You can't just be stoic and pragmatic and everything.
殿下、そのような話をこんなところで。
構わぬ。むしろこの場は密談に良い。
殿下、
He's changed.
代わりになられた。
Hmm?
変わるさ。すべてを変えてゆかねばならぬ。
Mm-hmm. Why?
軍なる
Why do they always do that? I don't want to see
口
it.
ほど殿下への中心があるとも思いし。
Oh, practicing. Is he gonna teach him? Master disciple. Come on.
主に4年のないことで右腕痛くないのかね。
アシュラット、
What? What now?
そうか。国に帰るか。
あんたは気にしねえと言ってくれたけど、やっぱ俺たちは裏切り者だし、
Mm-hmm.
なんつうか、この先どの面して会えばいいのか言って。
やー
He lost.
なんか
Yeah.
兄じゃもあんなになっちまったし、ビョルンの傷治るといいな。
あとり、おめえそれでもバイキングかよ。
Mm-hmm.
よくもまあこんな真人間が俺の手下になったもんだぜ。ビョルンは長く持たねえよ。傷が腹渡まで達してる。これでも昔からの手下はトルフィンだけってことになるな。再出発にはちょうどいい。
Oh.
金だ、持ってけ。
いらねえよ。もらう理由がねえ。
いいから
Just
受け
take
取
it.
れ。
Take it.
預金が多くと困ることはねえだろうが。
Mm-hmm.
すまねえ。じゃあ
Stop crying
あ
first.
りがたく。なんだよ。くれんのかくれねえのかどっちだよ。
条件がある。
え、
二度と剣を握るな。
Mm-hmm.
お前には似合わねえ、アトリ。
Mm-hmm.
羊を飼い、嫁をもらって、ガキをこさえてベッドで死ね。これから先、おめえを戦場で見かけたときは、味方でも切るぞ。
Mm-hmm.
ああ、わかった。
Go now, go.
それ何これかこれは大切な腕輪だ
Yeah. Poor guy. Lost all his men. It's sad. February 10, 14 AD, York Danish army occupied town, Northumbria region. Oh, Leif. Where is he going, Leif? It's been so long. I forgot about Leif. How are people back at the village doing? Forgot about them also. Man, yeah, I feel bad for Ashla. The poor guy lost all his men. A lot of them betrayed him. I mean, he does hate Vikings and everything, but it has to be sad, right? Also, we got to see the king for the first time. King is king, right? Hard to deal with. It's just a lot of setup, right? We got to see a lot of political tension, a lot of battle of wits. We'll see what happens in the next episode. Next few episodes, I feel like are going to be major and it'll build up to the last episode, and that's where we'll have the finale, the season ending. Yeah, interesting, interesting. Anyway, that is it for today's episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to watch the next episode. And I stream every single day. If you want to watch, check the description. I'll see you later.